Good morning, students. In yesterday's class, we have seen evolution of banking in India. In that, we have seen that due to this British which were ruling India, the England system of banking also came in India because of this British rule. Okay, it is the modern banking where the modern banking was brought in by the Britishers when they were ruling India. But in India, it is not only the modern banking but the references which were given in the Mahishmatis and Kautilya in the Arthashastra, they say that banking was there in India long back. It is not a new term for India because there were merchant traders and the money lenders who were lending money to the kings. Okay, so they were having a very good position during that time. But this modern banking, that is more double entry system of accounting, was brought in by the Britishers. Okay, but before that, before Britishers brought the modern rule, there was the traditional way of banking in India because of these money lenders and merchant bankers. So due to this Britishers, the modern banking which came in India, the first stage was the agency house. Okay, agency house was established. Due to this language barriers, the English traders established the agency house. After that, there was the establishment of presidency house. This was established by East India Company. Okay, they to raise their working capital, what they did, they contributed 20% of their share capital and they established the presidency house. There were three presidency house that was established, that was Bank of Bengal, Bank of Bombay and Bank of Madras. Okay, after that joint stock bank was established. This joint stock bank was established with a limited liability, with the principle of what? Limited liability. When this principle was imposed, that time everybody started opening a bank. Okay, even foreigners entered the Indian banking field. So to compete this Indian banking field, a strong powerful bank was formed. This was formed by amalgamating three presidency bank, that was Bank of Bengal, Bank of Bombay and Bank of Madras. Okay, so by amalgamating these three presidential bank, a strong imperial bank was formed. And later, after nationalization, now this three amalgamated imperial bank, the powerful imperial bank, is known as State Bank of India. Okay, and once the state bank was established, it was nationalized. Okay, after nationalization, this bank was known as State Bank of India. So when there was a banking system in India, there was no rule and regulation in our country. So to have a control on this banking system, the Hilton Young Commission, okay, Hilton Young Commission suggested that there should be a central bank. Okay, so Reserve Bank of India was established. But when this Reserve Bank of India was established, there was no power and control on Reserve Bank of India. There was only few power because there was there was a depression and there was a subsequent World War II which was coming. So because of this, there was no, what you call, there was no such power or no such this thing rule that a reserve bank can do on the banking system in India. So after nationalization, it was immediately after independence, all these banks were nationalized. Okay, and the Banking Regulation Act was imposed. When the Banking Regulation Act was imposed, that time RBI was given the power to given more power so that it can successfully it will be successful in making Indian banking system trustworthy. Okay, so after that, after RBI was introduced, there was no malpractices, there were no deficiencies and there were no drawbacks. Okay, there was a trust in the people's mind that a banking system is very good in India, they can save their money. So after that, the nationalization of the bank was done. So in 1969, there was 14 big nationalized banks was nationalized, and after that 6 more in 1980 was nationalized. So these banks, when they were nationalized, they were strong enough so that they can trade international. They became international players. Okay, so this is how Indian banking system developed. Now why I'm doing this thing in detail? Because I past many years this question comes every time, that is, explain the evolution of banking system in India. Okay, so you should be able to write. I've explained you in a very simple meaning words. Okay, it is very easy, nothing so difficult over there of evolution of banking in India. Okay, so today we are going to see the structure of Indian banking system. स्ट्रक्चर, जैसे कि देखो आप लोगों का घर, अभी घर बनने से पहले व्हाट यू डू, यू रिमूव द आर्किटेक्चर ऑफ दैट बिल्डिंग और आर्किटेक्चर ऑफ योर हाउस. ओके, कि हमारा घर कैसे बनेगा. ना व्हेन यू डू योर आर्किटेक्चर यू कम टू नो अबाउट द स्ट्रक्चर, कि हमारा घर का स्ट्रक्चर कैसे होगा, बेस कैसे होगा, टॉप में क्या होगा, कितने कैसा, मतलब यू कम टू नो अबाउट द अप्रॉक्स ऑफ द मटीरियल वट एवर. So that is the meaning of structure. Even in Indian banking system there is a structure of Indian banking system. और ये structure बहुत ऐसे ही नहीं बना, in one step it didn't form. Okay, so it to form the structure it took many years. Okay, many मतलब बहुत सारे decisions लेने के बाद, बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करने के बाद दिस स्ट्रक्चर वॉज फॉर्म. सो दिस इज नॉट अ न्यू concept that it will be formed in one day. It takes much time, it takes long time to form this structure. So structure of Indian banking system is very easy and it is under the control of Reserve Bank of India. So let's see how the structure of Indian banking system looks. So this is the structure of Indian banking system. On top we have Reserve Bank of India. Okay, as you all know, Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of India. So this is the controller of each and every bank that is operating in our country. So Reserve Bank of India के under what is that? Commercial bank, regional rural bank and cooperative bank. Okay, so these are the three banks: commercial bank, regional bank and cooperative bank. I hope you have heard these words: regional bank, cooperative banks, commercial bank. Now under commercial bank we have public sector bank and private sector bank. Okay, public sector banks are what in this most of the shares are owned by the government. Private sector are owned by the individual or private individual. Okay, so in that public sector bank we have State Bank of India and its associate banks, and on this side we have nationalized banks, the 14 banks which were nationalized and more 6 banks which were nationalized, they come under public sector bank because these are under the control of they are, most of the shares are with the government. Then private sector bank we have Indian Bank and foreign bank. Okay, Indian banks are banks which are privately owned by the Indian individual. Okay, foreign banks are what, their main branch will be incorporated outside India. Okay, then you have regional bank. Regional banks, under that there is no bifurcation because it is the only one entity. Then afterwards you have cooperative banks. Under cooperative banks you have cooperative urban cooperative banks and rural cooperative credit institutions. Okay, and under cooperative banks we have urban cooperative societies. Okay, and under rural cooperative credit institutions we have state cooperative banks, central cooperative banks and primary credit societies. So this is the structure of Indian banking system. It is very important. Even on this, there will be a question for you: structure of Indian banking system. Okay, explain the structure of Indian banking system, or there can be explain the meaning of bank and explain the structure of Indian banking system. Okay, or bank structure of banking system in India. Okay, तो आप लोगों को ये ड्रॉ करना है, उसके बाद ईच ये जो बैंक्स है उसके बारे में आप लोगों को एक्सप्लेनेशन देना है. So we'll first see the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, as you all know, Reserve Bank is the central bank of India. It is the supreme monetary and banking authority in India, and all the banks whichever are there, okay, is the responsibility to of this bank to control them, to regulate the functioning of banking system in India. Okay, so this bank has a supreme power. Okay, it has the power to control all the banks, to regulate and function the all the bank or functioning of the banking system in India. As Reserve Bank of India, why this reserve word has come? As you all know, all the commercial banks, जो भी commercial banks हैं हमारे country में, they have to keep their reserve with the Reserve Bank of India. मतलब उनका जो एक reserve एक rate दिया जाता है, उस रेट के हिसाब से they have to keep a reserve with the Reserve Bank of India. That's why the central bank of India is known as Reserve Bank of India, because they keep the reserve of all commercial bank. That's why it is known as Reserve Bank. The Reserve Bank performs all typical functions of a central bank. As you all know, every country, whoever is there in this world, is having a central bank. Okay, even US is having a central bank. सबके पास अपने अपने central bank है. So our country, हमारे country इंडिया का reserve bank, central bank कौन है? Reserve Bank of India. So this Reserve Bank operates like other central banks also. Okay, जैसे दूसरे कंट्री में सेंट्रल बैंक है, वैसे ही हमारा रिजर्व बैंक भी ऑपरेट करता है. इट्स मेन फंक्शन इज टू रेगुलेट द मॉनेटरी मैकेनिज्म. ओके, जो हमारे कंट्री में मनी के रिलेटेड जो मैकेनिज्म है, मतलब मनी के रिलेटेड जो सिस्टम्स है, उनको रेगुलेट करना, विच इज़ कंप्राइजिंग ऑफ करेंसी. ओके, सो करेंसी, कितना करेंसी ये करना मार्केट में, वी हैव टू, मतलब जो जो करेंसी रिलेटेड, कि करेंसी अगर ज़्यादा है देन दे कैन बी इन्फ्लेशन, डिप्रेशन. सो दिस ऑल, ये जो सब कुछ है वो किसके पास है? रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के पास है. सो ज़्यादा करेंसी प्रिंट करना या कम करेंसी प्रिंट करना, वॉट एवर मॉनिटरी मनी के रिलेटेड जो जो मैकेनिज्म है वो किसके पास है? रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के पास है. For this, the bank is giving the monopoly of note issue and also has the wide power over the commercial bank. As you all know, India का जो हमारे नोट इशू करने का जो पावर है वो सिर्फ रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के पास है. इट इज़ ओनली विथ रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया. एट द सेम टाइम द बैंक इज़ टेकिंग एक्टिव पार्ट. ओके, हमारा जो रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया है, इट इज़ टेकिंग एक्टिव पार्ट इन फॉस्टरिंग द adequate banking structure capable of meeting needs of trade, industry, agriculture and commerce. So हमारे जो बैंक्स हैं, हमारे जो कंट्री में जो बैंक्स हैं, उनको इतना एफिशिएंट बनाता है ये रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, सो दैट दे आर एबल टू मीट ऑल द नीड्स विच आर रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द ट्रेड, इंडस्ट्री, कॉमर्स एंड एग्रीकल्चर. ओके, सो रिजर्व Bank of India plays a very important role. Okay, now once this central bank is done, there's three banks, that is commercial bank, regional bank and cooperative bank are under the control of Reserve Bank of India. So we'll see first commercial banks. Okay, commercial word, when you say commercial, it means business. okay, or business matlab it is earning profit. So when it comes to commercial banks, these banks are those banks which are started mainly with the purpose of making profit as well as to render services to their depositors. Okay, this is the main work of the commercial bank. This when this commercial banks does what you मतलब हम लोग जो जिस बैंक में हमारे अकाउंट्स है, these all banks are commercial banks. ओके, जैसे कि हमारा अकाउंट SBI में होगा, हमारा अकाउंट HDFC, ICICI, सिटी बैंक, एक्सिस बैंक, these all are commercial bank because they make profit. Okay, these banks are only to make profit, that's why the word has come commercial. And also they give different services to their customer, their depositors. Okay, those who deposit their money also they give some different services. So this enables large payment to be made over long distance with a minimum expenses. Suppose हमारा अभी सपोज वी वांटेड टू डू सम पेमेंट टू अ पार्टी हु इज़ इन कश्मीर. ओके, कश्मीर में एक हमारी पार्टी है, नाउ आई एम डूइंग अ ट्रेडिंग बिजनेस एंड आई हैव अ पार्टी हु इज़ इन कश्मीर. नाउ अगर हमारे पास बैंक्स नहीं होते तो क्या होता, वी वर सपोज टू ट्रैवल टू कश्मीर टू डू द पेमेंट. अगर हमें कुछ कलेक्शन करना था, हमारा पेमेंट या हमारा बिल्स कुछ कलेक्ट करना था, इवन देन we were supposed to travel to such a long distance to do the payment. So this commercial ये जो commercial banks है इस केस में बहुत important role play करते हैं. ओके, because they do whatever payment with a minimum expenses over a long distance. It constitutes a very lifeblood of the advanced economic society. So हमारे सोसाइटी को जैसे कि हमारे बॉडी में ब्लड कैसे इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है, वैसे ही हमारा जो इकोनॉमी है, इकोनॉमिक सोसाइटी है, दिस कमर्शियल बैंक प्लेज एज द रोल ऑफ द लाइफ ब्लड. ओके, सो कमर्शियल बैंक हैव लॉन्ग हिस्ट्री ऑफ देयर एग्जिस्टेंस फॉर मैनी डेकेड्स. ओके, ये जो कमर्शियल बैंक है इट इज़ नॉट अ न्यू बैंक. ओके, इट इज़ अ वेरी ओल्ड बैंक विच इज़ ऑपरेटिंग इन आवर कंट्री. सो सेविंग्स को मोबिलाइज करना, लोन प्रोवाइड करना, क्रेडिट प्रोवाइड करना ऑन द सेविंग, प्रोवाइडिंग वर्किंग कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट टू द डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज एंड ट्रेडिंग यूनिट आर सम ऑफ द फंक्शंस ऑफ द commercial banks. Okay, now this commercial banks due to this nationalization of big commercial banks in 1969. okay, जब 1969 में हमारे जो बैंक्स थे, बड़े बड़े बैंक्स थे, कमर्शियल बैंक्स, दे वर नेशनलाइज. एंड व्हेन दे वर नेशनलाइज दे वर क्लासिफाइड इनटू टू. फर्स्ट वन was public sector bank and second one was private sector bank. Now when you talk about public sector bank, in 1999 in India there was 27 public sector banks, and this public sector banks was having a great they played a very great role in the economic development of the country. They were successful in having more branches, okay, higher deposit and credit distribution. Now this public sector banks was under were two banks, that was SBI and its associate banks, and there was nationalized bank. Now as you all know हमारे स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया जो है उसके 7 associate बैंक भी है. ओके, सो दे आर स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, you will find everywhere. Okay, it is the founder and State Bank of India is the founder and the flagship member of all state bank groups. Okay, so they have a big group which is consisting of 7 associate banks. So those are State Bank of Bikaner and Jaipur, State Bank of Hyderabad, State Bank of Indore, State Bank of Mysore, State Bank of Patiala, State Bank of Saurashtra, and State Bank of Travancore. Okay, so these are the associate banks which are nearly having 34% of their aggregate banking business. So out of this 100%, 34% बैंक जो हमारा स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया का ही बैंकिंग बिजनेस चालू है. ओके, एंड द सेकेंड वन इज अंडर प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक इज नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक. ओके, सो हमारे कंट्री में ये जो बैंक्स थे, देयर वाज 21 बैंक्स विच वाज नेशनलाइज. ओके, सो दोज आर in the year 1969 and 1980, there was this banks, 21 banks which were nationalized. So these were the banks which were nationalized were Central Bank of India, that Reserve Bank of India was nationalized in that year, Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, okay, Bank of Baroda, Unit of Commercial, the United Commercial Bank, Canara Bank, the United Bank of India, Dana Bank, Syndicate Bank, Union Bank of India, Allahabad Bank. Then you have the Indian Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, Indian Overseas Bank, Andhra Bank, Corporation Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, okay, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Punjab and Sindh Bank, Vijaya Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, and Indian Post Payment Banks. Okay, so these were the 21 banks that was nationalized, and it comes under the public sector banks. Okay, and now we will see about private sector banks. Okay, now this private sector bank also played an important role in the economic development of the country. Our country is a mixed economy because it has private sectors and also public sectors. Okay, so here that's why our India is a mixed economy, and these private sector banks has also played an important role in the economic development. So here even this private sector bank has a large number of their consumers. Okay, so this banking banks has given tough competition to the public sectors by introducing various innovations. Okay, ये जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स हैं उन्होंने क्या क्या इनोवेशंस किए. दे ब्रॉट इनोवेशंस लाइक एटीएम फैसिलिटी वाज ब्रॉट बाय द प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक, 24 hours बैंकिंग. ओके, 24 hours बैंकिंग, होम बैंकिंग, प्राइवेट सेक्टर्स होम बैंकिंग, ये सारे जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स थे वो किसने लाए? प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स ने लाए इन द बैंकिंग सिस्टम इन इंडिया. दैट्स हाउ it has played an important role in economic development. So this private sector banks were divided into two. They were Indian bank and foreign bank. Now Indian banks are the Indian banks which are operating, that is HDFC, these all are what? Indian private sector banks. HDFC, ICICI, these are Indian private sector banks, and these banks are, their head office will be in India, and which are owned, controlled and managed by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, ये जो private sector banks है इनका जो head office है it will be in India, and it is owned, controlled and managed by Reserve Bank of India. Second one is your फॉरेन बैंक. ओके, नाउ दिस फॉरेन बैंक इनका जो हेड ऑफिस है इट विल बी ओवरसीज मतलब इट विल बी आउटसाइड इंडिया, एंड दे आर ओन्ड एंड कंट्रोल्ड बाय द countries and other country from the other country and other foreign banks. ओके, तो ये जो बैंक्स हैं इनका कंट्रोल, इनका जो मैनेजमेंट है ये रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया नहीं करता. इट इज़ कंट्रोल बाय द फॉरेन बैंक्स. ओके, उनका जो हेड ऑफिस है वहाँ से उनका कंट्रोल होता है. सो नेशनलाइज और पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स. ओके, सो द पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स कंसिस्ट ऑफ स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एंड एसोसिएट्स बैंक along with 21 banks which are nationalized. Okay, small number of Indian banks banks scheduled which have not been nationalized, and branches of foreign banks operating in India belong to the private sector banks. Okay, so foreign banks are mostly known as foreign exchange banks. Okay, why foreign exchange bank? Because you can exchange your currencies also over here in foreign exchange bank. That's why they are known as foreign exchange banks. नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज द मेन पार्ट अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया ही, जैसे कमर्शियल बैंक है वैसे ही रीजनल रूरल बैंक. ना दिस रीजनल रूरल बैंक केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस इन मिडल ऑफ 1970. ना दिस बैंक्स आर मोस्टली opened with an objective of serving the rural areas of India. So rural area में कौन रहते हैं? हमारे एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट, फार्मर्स, आर्टिशन, स्मॉल एंटरप्राइज, उनको हेल्प करने के लिए ये रीजनल रूरल बैंक सेटअप किए. सो दिस बैंक्स वर सेटअप विद अ स्पेसिफिक ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ प्रोवाइडिंग credit facilities and facilities to deposit, especially to the small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, artisans and small enterprises. So rural development in respect to agriculture, trade, commerce and industry is the prime responsibility of the regional rural bank. They are also known as RRBs. Okay, तो रूरल एरिया को डेवलप करना. रूरल एरिया डेवलप कैसे होगी? व्हेन यू प्रोवाइड क्रेडिट फैसिलिटीज़ टू द स्मॉल, मतलब लोन अगर हम लोग देंगे स्मॉल फार्मर्स को या आर्टिशंस को, तो दे विल डेवलप स्लोली, दैट एरिया विल ऑल्सो गेट डेवलप्ड. ओके, सो दिस बैंक्स आर एसेंशियली कमर्शियल बैंक्स. हावेवर द एरिया ऑफ ऑपरेशन इज रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट ओनली. ओके, उसके बाहर दे कांट ऑपरेट, so it is restricted to a particular district. Next is cooperative banks. Okay, now cooperative banks also played an important role in the component of Indian banking system. It was originated an enchantment of the cooperative credit society in the year 1904. Okay, these banks are classified into urban and the rural cooperative credit institutions. So we'll see first urban cooperative banks. Okay, so the urban areas are served by the urban कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स. ओके, सो अर्बन एरिया मतलब जहाँ पे इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन है, जहाँ पे डेवलपमेंट है. ओके, दिस एरियाज आर अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक. सो दिस बैंक्स आर रजिस्टर्ड अंडर कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज एक्ट ऑफ द रिस्पेक्टिव स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. ओके, ये जो कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स है इट इज़ नॉट अ नेशनल. ओके, इट इज़ अंडर द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का जो एक्ट है, जैसे कि महाराष्ट्र स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ एक्ट, देन यू हैव राजस्थान स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ एक्ट. तो हर एक स्टेट के लिए एक कोऑपरेटिव एक्ट रहता है. अकॉर्डिंग टू द स्टेट देयर इज़ अ कोऑपरेटिव एक्ट. एंड अगर ये कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स ऑपरेट करना है देन दे हैव टू बी रजिस्टर्ड अंडर द स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव Act. Okay, Societies Act. So RBI is a regulatory and supervisory authority of these banks for their banking related operations. Okay, so ये जो बैंक रेट वगैरह है, so they have to keep with their Reserve Bank of India, and जो भी banking regulations है they are under the control of RBI. So RBI extends the refinance to these banks. Okay, RBI what it does, it gives refinancing facility to these banks with the banks against the bank rate. Okay, and towards the cottage industry unit. Okay, so these banks are required to channelize 60% of the total loans and advances towards the priority sector. तो ये जो बैंक्स हैं उन्होंने 60% लोन देना चाहिए टूवर्ड्स whom, towards priority sectors. Okay, so these urban credit societies working under urban areas to supply credit at a low rate of interest. Okay, ये जो urban credit society है which is under the control of urban cooperative bank, they have to provide loan to with a very low interest to the semi-urban and weaker sections of the society. So these are the societies registered under Cooperative Societies Act. Okay, and they play a very important role in providing credit to the urban areas. Okay, तो ये जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ है, ये स्मॉल स्मॉल जो वीकर सेक्शंस है हमारे कंट्री में, तो उनको डेवलप करने के लिए ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करते हैं. ना वन वी आर डन विद द अर्बन, ना द नेक्स्ट वन इज रूरल कोऑपरेटिव क्रेडिट सोसाइटीज. Now, rural cooperative credit societies are which largely serve the rural areas of our countries. Okay. Now, this are divided into three. That is state cooperative banks that are at the apex level and it operates at the state level. Okay. Then the second one is district cooperative banks. Okay. Now, this is at the intermediary level and it will operate at the district level only. Okay, and the last one is the primary cooperative credit society, which is at a grassroots level. Okay, it will serve only that particular area. So state cooperative banks and district cooperative bank will provide financial assistance to the primary cooperative credit society. The funds of Reserve Bank of India which are provided to the agricultural sector, मतलब ये जो agricultural sector है उनको provide करने के लिए first it will come to the state cooperative banks. Okay, and the central cooperative bank, and then it will be transferred. Once it comes to the state, it will be the fund will be transferred to the different district, and the different district will transfer it to the primary cooperative societies. So this is the structure of Indian banking system. Okay, it has Reserve Bank of India. Under Reserve Bank we have commercial banks, regional banks and cooperative banks. Under commercial banks we have public sector banks and private sector banks. Okay, so public sector banks के अंदर State Bank of India and its associate and nationalized bank, and private sector banks के अंदर Indian banks and foreign banks. Then you have cooperative banks. Under cooperative banks you have urban cooperative banks and rural cooperative banks. अंडर कोऑपरेटिव अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स के अंडर अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज़ आते हैं, एंड रूरल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स के अंदर रूरल कोऑपरेटिव क्रेडिट इंस्टीट्यूशंस के अंदर स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक एंड your primary credit societies. So district cooperative banks are also known as central cooperative banks. Okay, so these are this is the important thing which you should know when you are learning the structure of Indian banking system. तो Indian banking system के अगर ऊपर क्वेश्चन आए तो you have to just draw the diagram, the structure and then explain one bank in detail.